It is 11 at night. Your house is quiet. Your dog is curled up on the floor, and you glance over before you head to bed, just like you do every night. But tonight something is different. The way they are lying looks strange. Your breathing sounds a little off. A small voice in your head whispers, "Is that normal?" I know exactly how unsettling that moment is. You spend all day watching this little face for clues, and when something looks even slightly wrong, your stomach drops. You probably already opened your phone and typed some version of, "Why does my dog sleep like this?" into Google at 2 in the morning. Maybe you have paid $80 for an emergency vet visit only to be told everything looks fine, and you walked out feeling relieved, but also a little embarrassed. And what is worse, the moment you stop worrying, you notice another strange sleeping position a week later, and the whole cycle starts again. But what if I told you that the way your dog sleeps is actually one of the most honest health reports you will ever get from them? Dogs cannot tell you when something hurts. They cannot say their hip aches or their stomach feels heavy. But their sleeping posture does. What if the secret to catching a health problem early was not in a fancy test, but in something you already watch happen on your living room floor every single night? Today, I am going to show you exactly which sleep positions are completely normal, which ones deserve a closer look, and which ones mean you should call your vet without waiting. Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Marcus, your neighborhood veterinarian, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I dedicate this entire channel to helping you become the best pet parent you can possibly be. Using simple vet-approved knowledge you can actually use at home. Before we dive in, drop the guilt. You are not a bad pet parent for not knowing this already. Most people never learn to read sleep posture because nobody teaches it. In fact, the very fact that you are watching this video right now proves you care enough to learn. I actually posted a video on reading your dog's body language while awake, which I will link at the end, and this one pairs perfectly with it. So today we are doing a complete masterclass on sleep positions. Grab a notebook, because I am about to walk you through the positions that matter most, what they usually mean, and what to actually do about each one. Let's get into it. Chapter 1 is the position most owners misread completely. It's not just a cute belly-up pose. It's a nervous system signal about temperature and trust. I'm talking about the flat in the back legs in their sprawl. Most people see this and think their dog is simply being goofy or asking for a belly rub. And most of the time, that's exactly what it is. Dogs expose their belly, the least protected part of their body, only when they feel completely safe. It also happens to be an efficient way for a dog to cool down, because the belly and inner legs have thinner fur and more surface blood vessels than the back. But here's what's truly fascinating. If this sprawled position appears suddenly in a dog who never used to sleep this way, especially paired with heavy panting, drooling, or reluctance to get up, it can be a sign of overheating or, in rare cases, abdominal discomfort, where the dog is instinctively trying to cool or stretch the area. The remedy here isn't complicated. Feel your dog's ears and paw pads. If they are hot and the room is warm, offer fresh water in a cooler spot, and check that panting settles within about 10 to 15 minutes. Now, here's a quick warning. If the panting does not settle, if the gums look bright red or pale, or if your dog seems disoriented, that is not a sleep quirk anymore. That is a possible heat-related emergency, and you need to call your vet immediately. Chapter 2 is one I actually consider the opposite of Chapter 1, and it's my personal favorite to explain because so few owners connect the dots. It's not just a tight little donut shape. It's a protective posture your dog's body defaults to under two very different circumstances, and telling them apart matters. I'm talking about the curled ball position, nose tucked near the tail. In most healthy dogs, this is simply thermoregulation. Curling up minimizes exposed surface area and keeps the core warm, which is why you see it more often in cold rooms or in dogs with thinner coats. But stick with me here because this one is important. When a dog curls unusually tight, tucks the tail firmly against the belly, and seems to flinch or resist being uncurled or touched near the abdomen, that tight curl can be a pain-guarding posture. Dogs with stomach discomfort, early arthritis, or generalized soreness will often curl defensively to protect their most vulnerable areas. Let me guess. You're probably thinking, but my dog curls up every single night and seems totally fine. And you are probably right. The key is not the position itself. It is any change in how tightly they curl, how hard it is to uncurl them gently. or whether they yelp or stiffen when you try. If you notice a new reluctance to be touched while curled, gently check their belly for bloating or tenderness, and if persists beyond a day or two, please see your vet. Chapter 3 surprised me the first time I really studied it in practice. It's not just a sleepy habit of resting the chin on something high. It's often a subtle compensation for something happening in the airway or the chest. I'm talking about dogs who consistently prop their head up on the arm of the couch, a pillow, or even the stairs instead of lying flat. Occasionally, this is just comfort preference, especially in flat-faced breeds like pugs, bulldogs, and boxers, whose airway anatomy makes flat sleeping genuinely harder to breathe through. But what if I told you that in dogs without a flat-faced build, a new habit of sleeping propped up can signal that lying completely flat feels harder to breathe in, sometimes linked to fluid buildup, chronic cough, or early heart or lung changes, especially in older dogs. Now here's a quick warning, and I want you to actually pay attention to this one. If your dog is elevating their head to sleep and you also notice a persistent cough, faster breathing than usual at rest, or tiring quickly on walks, please do not wait this one out. Call your vet and mention the sleep posture specifically because it gives them a genuinely useful clue. Chapter 4 is the one that scares owners the most, and honestly, most of the time it shouldn't. It's not a medical emergency every single time it happens. It's your dog's brain replaying the day. I'm talking about twitching, paw paddling, soft whimpering, or the classic running motion during sleep. This happens during REM sleep, the same stage where humans dream and dogs cycle through it multiple times a night. The twitching is completely normal and actually a sign of healthy, restorative sleep. But here's where it gets more nuanced. If the twitching escalates into stiff, rigid limbs, if your dog cannot be woken from it, their jaw is clenched, or if it lasts longer than about 30 to 45 seconds with no response to their name, that crosses into looking more like a seizure than a dream. The remedy for normal dream twitching is simple: do nothing. Let them finish the cycle. Because waking a dog abruptly from REM sleep can startle them into snapping reflexively, even at someone they love. Now, here's a quick warning. If you ever suspect an actual seizure, note the exact time it starts and stops. Keep your hands away from the mouth and call your vet the same day, even if your dog seems fine afterward. Chapter 5 is quieter than the others, and that is exactly why owners miss it. It's not just your dog picking a new nap spot. It's often the first sign of joint pain long before a limp ever shows up. I'm talking about a dog who suddenly abandons their favorite sleeping spot, especially if that spot required a small jump onto a couch or bed, or getting up and down off hard flooring. Dogs are remarkably good at hiding pain while awake, because instinctively, showing weakness feels unsafe to them. But sleep habits are harder to fake. A dog with early hip or joint discomfort will often start choosing softer, way lower, easier to reach spots, or shift from curling to sprawling because curling puts pressure on sore joints. The remedy here starts with observation, not medication. Watch for stiffness after they wake up, reluctance on stairs, or slower rising in the morning specifically. A supportive orthopedic bed can genuinely help redistribute pressure while you investigate further. Now, here's a quick warning. Never give your dog human pain medication like ibuprofen or acetaminophen for suspected joint pain. These are toxic to dogs even in small amounts. If you notice this pattern persisting beyond 1 to 2 weeks, book a vet visit for a proper joint evaluation. Chapter 6 is the foundation, and I'm putting it last because once you understand it, everything else in this video clicks into place. It's about how much. Adult dogs typically sleep 12 to 14 hours a day, and that number climbs higher for puppies and senior dogs. A sudden shift, sleeping noticeably more than their normal baseline, being difficult to rouse, seeming disinterested in things that usually excite them, is often a more reliable red flag than any single position on this list. The science here is simple. Pain, illness, and low-grade infections all increase a dog's need for rest as the body diverts energy toward healing. The remedy is to know your dog's personal baseline. Every dog is different, so track roughly how much they sleep on a normal week, so you have something to compare against if things change. If persists beyond 2 to 3 days, especially paired with reduced appetite, that combination is one of the clearest signals in veterinary medicine that something needs to be checked. Now, please listen closely, because this is a massive veterinary warning. No single sleep position, on its own, diagnoses anything. I am not telling you to panic every time your dog curls up tighter than usual or naps 5 extra minutes. The real danger is ignoring a pattern, a new position paired with a new symptom that repeats or worsens over several days. Home observation is a tool for noticing early, not for replacing your vet's exam. Blood work or imaging when something is genuinely wrong. Do you ever see sudden collapse, extreme difficulty breathing, a swollen abdomen that appears within hours, pale or blue-tinged gums, or a seizure lasting over a minute that is not a wait-and-see situation? That is an emergency clinic visit tonight. No exceptions. Here is the golden rule. You do not need to analyze every nap like a detective. Build this into a simple daily habit instead. Daily, take 10 seconds when your dog settles down for a nap or bedtime and just notice position, breathing, and whether they curl normally. 2 to 3 times a week, do a slightly closer check. Gently feel their belly and joints while they're relaxed and sleepy, since this is often when dogs are most tolerant of being touched. As needed, whenever something looks different from their normal baseline, write it down with the date, because patterns matter more than single incidents. The whole process should take you no more than 30 seconds a day. Watching for the small signs is one of the hardest parts of being a pet parent, because it means sitting with a little bit of uncertainty instead of getting an instant answer. But by choosing to educate yourself, by choosing to take just 30 seconds out of your day to really look at your sleeping dog instead of scrolling past them, you are proving how much you truly love your dog. And that makes you an incredible pet parent. If this video gave you a little more peace of mind tonight, please hit that like button. It genuinely helps more pet parents find this information when they need it most. Subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss our weekly deep dives. And please leave a comment telling me what is the strangest position your dog sleeps in, and have you ever caught yourself worrying about it? I read every single one. Give your sweet, beautiful dog a gentle scratch behind the ears for Dr. Marcus tonight. I'll see you in the next one.